Welcome to Creative Genius Labs. I'm your host, Zane Wild. Today, on Creative Genius Labs. Ever felt trapped by expectations, yearning to break free? Today, witness how a working-class girl from drab Derbyshire ignited a punk revolution, and then, against all odds, drove a tank through London. A journey that will show you how your own dissatisfaction can fuel extraordinary change and empower you to find your own tank. Metal groans against London pavement. The crowd gasps. Through the periscope of a borrowed military tank, an elderly woman with flame-red hair fixes her gaze on 10 Downing Street. The year is 2012, and Dame Vivienne Westwood, fashion revolutionary turned environmental warrior, is about to make headlines again. Not for her clothes this time, but for driving a tank to the Prime Minister's residence to protest fracking. You might wonder how a former primary school teacher became Britain's most notorious fashion rebel, then its most elegant dame, and finally, an environmental activist commanding a tank. Her story isn't just about fashion or protest. It's about finding your voice when the world tells you to be quiet. It's about turning your frustration into fuel for change. Picture a dreary 1960s classroom in Derbyshire. Young Vivienne stands before her students, already wearing the purple lipstick that would become her trademark. The walls feel like they're closing in. Every morning she puts on her teacher's uniform, but underneath she's already sewing her own clothes from scraps, creating something different, something that makes the other teachers whisper. But that uncertainty, that nagging feeling of being trapped in the wrong life, was precisely what would drive her forward. You might recognize this feeling, that restless energy telling you there must be more than this prescribed path. The transformation begins in 1965 when she meets Malcolm McLaren. The classroom walls crumble. Together, they open a small shop at 430 Kings Road. It's not much at first, just a tiny space selling used records, but Vivienne has bigger plans. The shop transforms again and again, each incarnation more outrageous than the last. Let It Rock becomes sex, becomes seditionaries. Inside, the air is thick with possibility and danger. The clothes she creates aren't just garments, they're weapons of cultural warfare. Ripped t-shirts held together with safety pins, bondage trousers, shirts with provocative slogans. Each piece is a middle finger to the establishment, a challenge to everything proper British society holds dear. When the Sex Pistols storm onto the music scene wearing her designs, Vivienne's rebellion finds its perfect voice. The safety pins and torn fabric become a uniform for disaffected youth across Britain. The establishment is horrified. The police raid her shop. Critics call her work obscene. But with every attack, her influence grows stronger. You see, Vivienne understood something crucial. Sometimes the most powerful way to change the world is to shock it awake. Her clothes weren't just fashion statements. They were alarm bells ringing through the corridors of power. Each garment screamed what polite society wanted to ignore, that the system was broken, that the young were angry, that change was coming whether anyone liked it or not. But success breeds its own kind of prison. By the 1980s, Vivienne faces a new challenge. The fashion world that once scorned her now wants to embrace her. She could easily rest on her punk laurels, keep making the same rebellious clothes. Instead, she does something even more radical. She studies classical tailoring and historical costume. Her Pirates collection debuts in 1981, merging punk attitude with historical grandeur. The fashion establishment is confused. They wanted their punk princess, but she gives them a Renaissance queen instead. Critics whisper sell out, but they're missing the point. This isn't surrender, it's evolution. The rebellion has grown more sophisticated. Mini-crini becomes her signature, a modern take on Victorian crinolines. She's not abandoning her roots, she's digging deeper, finding new ways to challenge conventions. You see, true rebellion isn't about staying angry. It's about growing, evolving, finding new battles worth fighting. If you're enjoying Creative Genius Labs, please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code for our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. Unlock hacks that make Vinci, Banksy, and Lady Gaga creative giants. Now, back to the episode. The ultimate irony comes in 2006. The punk fashion rebel becomes Dame Vivienne Westwood. But if anyone thinks this will tame her, they're in for a surprise. Her focus shifts to climate change and environmental activism. The woman who once sharked with bondage, we're now sharks with truth. Buy less, choose well, make it last. She turns her runway shows into environmental manifestos. Models wear climate revolution badges. She cuts her iconic red hair to raise awareness about climate change. The fashion industry, built on constant consumption, squirms uncomfortably as one of its icons tells people to stop buying so much. Now that tank in front of Downing Street makes perfect sense. It's not just about fracking, it's about using whatever means necessary to wake people up. The same spirit that puts safety pins in shirts now puts a dame in a tank. The methods change, but the mission remains. Challenge the system, fight for what matters. But this isn't really about clothes. It's about having the courage to express yourself, to evolve, to fight for what you believe in. Your rebellion might not involve tanks or safety pins. It might be quieter, but no less powerful. The lesson of Vivienne Westwood isn't about fashion or fame. It's about finding your voice and using it, even when it shakes. It's about recognizing that your greatest power might lie in what makes you different, what makes others uncomfortable. Most importantly, it's about understanding that true rebellion isn't a single act, but a lifetime of evolution. Look at your life right now. What's your equivalent of purple lipstick in a gray classroom? What's your tank, your safety pin, your way of saying, this needs to change? Maybe it's time to find out. Because if a working-class teacher from Derbyshire can reshape fashion and fight for the planet, imagine what you might do if you fully embrace your own power to rebel. The world doesn't need another Vivienne Westwood. It needs you, in all your uncomfortable, evolving, revolutionary glory. So go ahead, create your own revolution. Just make sure it's worth fighting for. On the next episode of Creative Genius Labs, Vivienne Westwood showed us how fashion can be a powerful form of rebellion and self-expression. But what happens when that expression comes from a place of deep personal pain and trauma? This week, we're continuing our exploration of fashion designers as cultural innovators by diving into the turbulent world of another iconoclast. Imagine a world where beauty is born from darkness, where the most exquisite creations are fueled by inner demons. What if I told you that the next designer's story is a roller coaster of genius and self-destruction, a stark reminder that even the brightest stars can burn out? Stay tuned, because you won't want to miss this exploration of a troubled soul who left an indelible mark on the world of fashion. Please like, subscribe, and scan the QR code, or follow the pinned link to get our free 7-day email course, The Master Creators Challenge. 7 days, 7 creative legends. Unlock your inner creative genius using the secret tactics of history's most revolutionary artists. Click the video that just popped up to watch the next one in this series. Or for episode summaries, behind-the-scenes info, and more, go to daily8.com/CGL. Thanks for watching.